Young man, laughed the farmer, you're sort of a fool. You'll never catch fish in McElligot's pool. The pool is too small, and you might as well know it. When people have junk, here's the place that they throw it. You might catch a boot, or you might catch a can. You might catch a bottle. But listen, young man, if you sat 50 years with your worms and your wishes, you'd grow a long beard long before you'd catch fishes.
Answered Marco. It may be you're right. I've been here 3 hours without one single bite. There might be no fish. But again, well, there might, 'cause you never can tell what goes on down below. This pool might be bigger than you or I know. This might be a pool like I've read of in books, connected to one of those underground brooks. An underground river that starts here and flows right under the pasture. And then, well, who knows? It might go along down where no one can see, right under State Highway 203. Right under the wagons, right under the toes of Mrs. Ambrosio, who's hanging our clothes. It might keep on flowing. Perhaps, who can tell? Right under the people in Sneeden's hotel. Right under the grass where they're playing croquet. And under the mountains and far, far away. This might be a river. Now, mightn't it be? Connecting McElligot's pool with the sea. Then maybe some fish might be swimming toward me. If such a thing could be, they certainly would be. Some very smart fellow might point out the way to the place where I'm fishing. And that's why I say, if I wait long enough, if I'm patient and cool, who knows what I'll catch in McElligot's pool? I might catch a thin fish. I might catch a stout fish. I might catch a short or a long, long, drawn-out fish. Any kind, any shape, any color or size. I might catch some fish that would open your eyes. I won't be surprised if a dogfish appears, complete with a collar and long, floppy ears, woofing along. And perhaps he might chase a whole lot of catfish right straight to this place. I might catch a fish with a pinwheel-like tail. I might catch a fish who has fins like a sail. I might catch some young fish, some high-jumping friskers. I might catch an old one with long, flowing whiskers. I might catch a fish with a long, curly nose. I might catch a fish like a rooster that crows. I might catch a fish with a checkerboard belly. Or even a fish made of strawberry jelly. I might catch a seahorse. Now, mightn't I now? I might catch a fish who is partly a cow. Some fish from the tropics, all sunburned and hot, might decide to swim up. Well, they might they not? Racing up north for a chance to get cool, full steam ahead for McElligot's pool. some Eskimo fish from beyond Hudson Bay might decide to swim down, might be headed this way. It's a pretty long trip, but they might, and they may. I might catch an eel. Well, I might. It depends. A long, twisting eel with a lot of strange bends. And oddly enough, with a head on both ends. One doesn't catch this kind of fish as a rule, but the chances are fine in McElligot's pool. I might catch a fish with a terrible grouch. Or an Australian fish with a kangaroo's pouch. Who wants to catch small ones like mackerel or trout? Say, I'll catch a sawfish with such a long snout that he needs an assistant to help him about. If I wait long enough, if I'm patient and cool, who knows what I'll catch in McElligot's pool? Some roughneck old lobster, all gristle and muscle, might grab at my bait. Then would I have a tussle? To land one so tough might take 2 or 3 hours. But the next might be easy. The kind that likes flowers. I might catch some sort of a fast-moving bloke who zips through the waves with an overarm stroke. I might and I may, and that's really no joke. A fish even faster. A fish, if you please, who slides down the sides of strange islands on skis. He might ski on over and pay me a visit. That's not impossible. Really, now is it? Some circus fish. Fish from an acrobat school might stage a big show in McElligot's pool. Or I might catch a fish from a stranger place yet, from the world's highest river in far-off Tibet, where the falls are so steep that it's dangerous to ride them. So the fish put up chutes and they float down beside them. From the world's deepest ocean, from way down below, from down in the mud where the deep divers go, from down in the mire and the muck and the murk, I might catch some fish who are all going glurk. Whales! I'll catch whales! Yes, a whole herd of whales, all spouting their spouts and all thrashing their tails. I'll catch 50 whales, then I'll stop for the day. 'Cause there's nothing that's bigger than whales, so they say. Still, of course, it might be that there is something bigger. Some sort of a kind of a thingamajigger. A fish that's so big, if you know what I mean, that he makes a whale look like a tiny sardine. Oh, the sea is so full of a number of fish. If a fellow is patient, he might get his wish. And that's why I think that I'm not such a fool when I sit here and fish in McElligot's pool.
If I Ran the Zoo by Dr. Seuss.
It's a pretty good zoo.
said young Gerald McGrew.
And the fellow who runs it seems proud of it, too. But if I ran the zoo,
said young Gerald McGrew,
I'd make a few changes. That's just what I'd do. The lions and tigers and that kind of stuff they have up here now are not quite good enough. You see things like these in just any old zoo. They're awfully old-fashioned. I want something new. So I'd open each cage, I'd unlock every pen. Let the animals go and start over again. And somehow or other, I think I could find some beasts of a much more unusual kind. A four-footed lion's not much of a beast. The one in my zoo will have 10 feet at least. 5 legs on the left and 5 more on the right. Then people will stare and they'll say,
"What a sight! This zookeeper, newkeeper, Gerald Squat Keen. That's the gall-darndest lion I ever have seen."
My new zoo, McGrew Zoo, will make people talk. My new zoo, McGrew Zoo, will make people gawk at the strangest odd creatures that ever did walk. I'll get for my zoo a new sort of a hen who roosts in another hen's topknot, and then another one roosts in the topknot of his, and another in his, and another in his. And so forth and upward and onward. Gee whiz. But that's just a start. I'll do better than that. They'll see me next day in my zookeeper's hat, coming into my zoo with an elephant cat. They'll be so surprised, they'll all swallow their gum. They'll ask when they see my strange animals come,
Where do you suppose he gets things like that from? His animals all have such very odd faces. I'll bet he must hunt them in rather odd places.
and that's what I'll do,
said young Gerald McGrew.
If you want to catch beasts you don't see every day, you have to go places quite out of the way. You have to go places no others can get to. You have to get cold, and you have to get wet, too. Up past the North Pole, where the frozen winds squeal. I'll go and I'll hunt in my Skiggle-mobile. And bring back a family of what do you know? And that's how my new zoo, McGrew Zoo, will grow. I'll hunt in the mountains of Zamba-Matant with helpers who all wear their eyes at a slant, and capture a fine, fluffy bird called the bustard, who only eats custard with sauce made of mustard. And also a very fine beast called the flustered, who only eats mustard with sauce made of custard. I'll catch 'em in caves, and I'll catch 'em in brooks. I'll catch 'em in crannies, I'll catch 'em in nooks that you don't read about in geography books. I'll catch them in countries that no one can spell. Like the country of Madafa-Pada-Fa-Pel. In a country like that, if a hunter is clever, he'll hunt up some beast that you never saw ever. I'll load up 5 boats with a family of jotes, whose feet are like cows, but wear squirrel skin coats. And sit down like dogs, but have voices like goats. Excepting they can't sing the very high notes. And then I'll go down to the wilds of Nantucket and capture a family of lunks in a bucket. Then people will say,
Now I like that boy heaps. His new zoo, McGrew Zoo, is growing by leaps. He captures them wild and he captures them meek. He captures them slim and he captures them sleek. What do you suppose he will capture next week?
I'll capture one tiny. I'll capture one cute. I'll capture a deer that no hunter would shoot. A deer that's so nice he could sleep in your bed. If it weren't for those horns that he has on his head. And speaking of horns that are just a bit queer, I'll bring back a very odd family of deer. A father, a mother, 2 sisters, a brother, whose horns are connected from one to the other, whose horns are so mixed they can't tell them apart. Can't tell where they end and can't tell where they start. Each deer's mighty puzzled. He's never yet found if his horns are hers or the other way round. I'll capture them fat and I'll capture them scrawny. I'll capture a scragglefoot mulligatawny, a high-stepping animal fast as the wind from the blistering sands of the desert of Zend. This beast is the beast that the brave chieftains ride when they want to go fast to find some place to hide. A mulligatawny is fine for my zoo, and so is a chieftain. I'll bring one back too. In the far western part of southeast North Dakota lives a very fine animal called the iota. But I'll capture one who is even much finer. In the northeastern west part of South Carolina. When people see him, they will say, "Now, by thunder, this new zoo, McGrew Zoo, is really a wonder." Most beasts are quite friendly, but still, in some lands, some beasts are too dangerous to catch with bare hands. For those that are ugly and vicious and mean, I'll build a bad animal catching machine. It's rather expensive to build such a kit, but with it, a hunter can never get bit. A zoo should have bugs, so I'll capture a thwirl, whose legs are snarled up in a terrible snarl. And then I'll go out and I'll capture some chugs, some keen shooter, mean shooter, bean shooter bugs. I'll go to the African island of Yurka and bring back a tizzle-topped, tufted mazurka, a kind of canary with quite a tall throat His neck is so long, if he swallows an oat for breakfast the first day of April, they say, it has to go down such a very long way that it gets to his stomach the 15th of May. I'll bag a big bug who is very surprising. A fellow who has a propeller for rising and zooming around making cross-country hops from Texas to Boston with only 2 stops. Now that sort of thing for a bug is just tops. And when I've caught him, then the next thing you know, I'll go and I'll capture a wild tic-tac-toe with X's that win and with zeros that lose. He'll look mighty good in this zoo of McGrews. I'll bring back a gusset, a gherkin, a gasket, and also a gooch from the wilds of Nantasket. And 8 Persian princes will carry the basket. But what their names are, I don't know, so don't ask it. In a cave in Khartoum lives a beast called the Natch that no other hunter's been able to catch. He's hidden for years in his cave with a pout, and no one's been able to make him come out. But I'll coax him out with a wonderful meal that's cooked by my cooks in my cooker-mobile. They'll fix up a dish that is just to his taste. 3 chicken croquettes made of library paste, then sprinkled with peanut shucks, pickled and spiced. Then baked at 600 degrees and then iced. It's mighty hard cooking to cook up such feasts. But that's how the new zoo, McGrew Zoo, gets beasts. I'll go to the faraway mountains of Topsk, near the river of Nopsk, and I'll bring back an Opsk. A sort of a kind of a thingamabobsk who only eats rhubarb and corn on the Kopsk. Then people will flock to my zoo in a mopsk.
McGrew
They will say,
does a wonderful job. He hunts with such vim, and he hunts with such vigor. His new zoo, McGrew Zoo, gets bigger and bigger.
And speaking of birds, there's the Russian Paluski, whose head ski is red ski and belly is blue ski. I'll get one of them for my Zooski Magrewski. Then the whole town will gasp.
Why, this boy never sleeps. No keeping before ever kept what he keeps. There's no telling what that young fella will do.
And then, just to show them, I'll sail to Katroo and bring back an Itkutch, a Preep, and a Prue, a Nurgle, a Nerd, and a Seersucker, too. I'll hunt in the jungles of Hippo-no-Hungus and bring back a flock of wild Bippo-no-bungus. The Bippo-no-bungus from Hippo-no-Hungus are better than those down in Dippo-no-dungus and smarter than those out in Nippo-no-nungus. And that's why I'll catch them in Hippo-no-Hungus instead of those others in Nungus and Dungus. And people will say when they see these bips bounding,
This zookeeper, new keeper, is simply astounding. He travels so far that you would think he would drop. When do you suppose this young fellow will stop?
Stop? Well, I should, but I won't stop until I've captured the Fizza-ma-Wizza-ma-Dill, the world's biggest bird from the island of Guark, who only eats pine trees and spits out the bark. And boy, when I get him back home to my park, the whole world will say,
Young McGrew's made his mark. He's built a zoo better than Noah's whole ark. These wonderful, marvelous beasts that he chooses have made him the greatest of all the McGrewses.
Wow!
they'll all cheer.
What this zoo must be worth! It's the gall-darnest zoo on the face of the earth!
Yes, that's what I'd do.
Said young Gerald McGrew.
I'd make a few changes if I ran the zoo.
They still talk about it in the kingdom of Did as the year the king got angry with the sky. And they still talk about the page boy, Bartholomew Cubbins. If it hadn't been for Bartholomew Cubbins, that king and that sky would have wrecked that little kingdom. Bartholomew had seen the king get angry many, many times before. But that year, when His Majesty started growling at the sky, Bartholomew Cubbins just didn't know what to make of it. Yet all that year, the old king did it. All year long, he stared up into the air above his kingdom, muttering and sputtering through his royal whiskers.
The things that come down from my sky.
All spring, when the rain came down, he growled at that. All summer, when the sunshine came down, he growled at that. All autumn, when the fog came down, he growled at that. And that winter, when the snow came down, he started shouting.
This snow, this fog, this sunshine, this rain. Ah! These four things that come down from my sky.
But, King Derwin, Bartholomew tried to calm him. You've always had these same four things come down.
That's just the trouble,
Bellowed the king.
Every year, the same four things. I'm mighty tired of those old things. I want something new to come down.
Something new come down? Bartholomew gasped. That's impossible, Your Majesty. You just can't have it.
Boy, don't you dare tell me what I can or cannot have. Remember, Bartholomew, I am king.
I know, sire, said Bartholomew. You rule all the land, and you rule all the people. But even kings can't rule the sky.
Can't, eh?
His Majesty flew into a terrible rage.
Well, maybe other kings can't do it, but maybe I'm one king who can. You mark my words, Bartholomew Cubbins. I will have something new come down.
But how to get something new to come down? That was rather hard to think up. And for many days, the old king stomped around, trying to figure out some way to do it. Then, finally, late one night, when all the lords and ladies of the palace were fast asleep, just as the king was buttoning his royal nightshirt, he suddenly stopped still. A strange, wild light began to shine in his gray-green eyes.
Why, of course!
He began laughing.
They can do it for me! Bartholomew Cubbins, blow my secret whistle. Quick, call my royal magicians.
Your magicians, Your Majesty? Bartholomew shivered. Oh, no, Your Majesty. Don't call them.
You hold your tongue, Bartholomew Cubbins. You do as I command you. Blow my secret whistle.
Yes, sire. Bartholomew bowed. But, Your Majesty, I still think that you may be very sorry. He took the king's secret whistle from its secret hook. He blew a long, low blast down the king's back secret stairway. And a moment later, he heard them coming. Up from their musty hole beneath the dungeon, up the empty midnight tunnel to the royal bedchamber tower, came the magicians on their padded, shuffling feet. Up and right into the room they came, chanting.
Shuffle, duffle, muzzle, muff. Fista, wista, Mr. Cuff. We are men of groans and howls, mystic men who eat boiled owls. Tell us what you wish, O king. Our magic can do anything.
I wish, spoke the king, to have you make something fall from my skies that no other kingdom has ever had before. What can you do? What will you make?
For a moment, they stood thinking, blinking their creaky eyes. Then they spoke a word. One word.
Oobleck.
Oobleck? Asked the king. What will it look like?
Won't look like rain, won't look like snow, won't look like fog, that's all we know. We just can't tell you anymore. We've never made Oobleck before.
They bowed. They started toward the door.
We go now to our secret cave on Mystic Mountain Nicotave. There all night long we'll work for you, and you'll have Oobleck when we're through.
They'll do something crazy, whispered Bartholomew. Call them back, Your Majesty. Stop them.
Stop them? Not for a ton of diamonds, chuckled the king. Why, I'll be the mightiest man that ever lived. Just think of it. Tomorrow I'm going to have Oobleck.
It took Bartholomew a long time to get the excited king to sleep that night. But there was no sleep for Bartholomew, the page boy. All night long, he stood in the king's window, staring out at the mystic mountain Nicotave. Somewhere up there, Bartholomew knew the magicians were working their terrible magic. All night, the magicians did. All night, they walked circles round their magic fire, making magic mumbling with their clucking tongues.
Oh, snow and rain are not enough, for we must make some brand new stuff. So feed the fire with wet mouse hair, burn an onion, burn a chair, burn a whisker from your chin, and burn a long sour lizard skin. Burn yellow twigs and burn red rust, and burn a stocking full of dust. Make magic smoke green, thick, and hot. It sure smells dreadful, does it not? That means the smoke is now just right. So quick, before the day gets light. Go magic smoke, go high, go high. Go rise into the kingdom sky. Go make the Oobleck tumble down on every street in every town. Go make the wondrous Oobleck fall. Oh, bring down Oobleck on us all.
Dawn was just breaking, and Bartholomew was still standing, trembling, watching at the bedchamber window. But now, as the sun rose, Bartholomew smiled. Those silly magicians hadn't done a thing. Then suddenly, Bartholomew Cubbins stopped smiling. Was he seeing things? No. There was something strange up there in the sky. At first, it seemed like a little greenish cloud. Just a wisp of greenish steam. But now, it was coming lower. Closer, down toward the fields and farms and houses of the sleeping little kingdom. It was swirling around the topmost turrets of the palace. Tiny little greenish specks were shimmering in the air right over his head. Queer little greenish blobs, just about the size of grape seeds. He stretched out his hand. He started to catch one. Then he pulled his hand back. There was something frightening about those blobs. Bartholomew slammed the window shut. "Wake up, Your Majesty," he shouted. "Your Oobleck, it's falling." The king sprang out of his royal bedsheets.
"By my royal whiskers, it is!"
he cried.
"Oh, that beautiful Oobleck! And it's mine. Oh, mine!"
"I don't like the looks of those blobs, sire," said Bartholomew. "They're coming down now as big as greenish peanuts."
"The bigger, the better!"
laughed the king.
Ho, 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 what a day! I'm going to make it a holiday. I want every man, woman, and child in my kingdom to go out and dance in my glorious Oobleck.
"Out in that stuff?" asked Bartholomew. "Do you really think it's safe, sire?"
"Stop asking foolish questions,"
snapped the king.
"Boy, you run to my royal bell tower. Wake my royal bell ringer. Tell him to ring the great holiday bell."
For a moment, Bartholomew Cubbins didn't move.
"Run!"
barked the king. Bartholomew ran. Across the sleeping palace, Bartholomew ran, then up the ladder of the high bell tower. He climbed to the bell ringer's little cubbyhole in the belfry. "Ring your bell," he called. "His Majesty the King proclaims today a holiday." The old man crawled out of his cot. He grabbed the bell rope.
"What's the holiday for, Bartholomew?"
"You'll find out soon enough," said Bartholomew. The bell ringer yanked the rope. Nothing happened. He yanked it harder. Still, nothing happened.
"Hey, what's wrong with my bell?"
he murmured.
"I'd better take a look outside."
He poked his head through the little trapdoor.
"Merciful gracious!"
he gulped.
"What is that? All over my bell like greenish molasses."
"Not only your bell," Bartholomew cried. "Look at that poor robin down there in that tree. She's stuck to her nest. She can't move a wing. That Oobleck's gooey. It's gummy. It's like glue."
"Oh,
The bell ringer wrung his hands.
if that green stuff sticks up robins, it'll stick up people too."
"Someone's got to warn the people," cried Bartholomew. "Got to wake 'em and warn 'em to stay inside their houses. I'll tell the royal trumpeter," he shouted. He turned and slid like lightning down the bell tower ladder. To the trumpeter's tower raced Bartholomew Cubbins, and on up the steps 4 stairs at a time. As he ran, he could hear the plop, plop of the Oobleck on the window panes. It was pelting against the palace walls, as big as greenish cupcakes now. He yanked the covers off the snoring trumpeter. He shoved his cold trumpet right into his sleepy hands. "Get up! Warn the people! Blow the alarm!" Alarm?" yawned the trumpeter. Then his eyes saw the Oobleck. "Those green things, Bartholomew, where'd they come from?" "The king," panted Bartholomew. His royal magicians made them. The royal trumpeter leapt from his bed.
That king of ours should be ashamed.
He jabbed his trumpet out of the window.
I'll blow, he shouted, the loudest alarm that's ever been heard in the kingdom of Did.
But all the royal trumpeter blew was a glug.
My horn,
He gulped.
one of those green things flew inside it.
He tried to blow it out. He couldn't blow it out. He tried to shake it out. He couldn't shake it out.
I'll get it somehow,
He yelled.
I'll pull it out.
No, shouted Bartholomew. Don't you touch it. The trumpeter's hand was already in it. His fingers grabbed hold of the lump of Oobleck. He could feel it squiggle around in his fist like a slippery potato dumpling made of rubber. He pulled with all his might. The Oobleck began to stretch. Then,
Loing.
the Oobleck snapped back inside the trumpet. It yanked his arm back with it right up to the elbow.
I can't wiggle a finger.
The trumpeter wailed.
Oh, Bartholomew, what'll I do?
I don't know, and I hate to leave you stuck to your horn, but if you can't warn the people of the kingdom, I've got to find someone who can. Out of the room and down the stairs raced Bartholomew Cubbins, down to the chamber of the captain of the guards. The captain was humming in front of his mirror, combing the ends of his handsome mustache. "Captain, do something!" shouted Bartholomew. "Do something? Why?" smiled the captain. "What's wrong?" "Captain, haven't you seen the dreadful Oobleck? It's coming down now as big as greenish baseballs." "Ho, that stuff," laughed the captain. "What's so dreadful about that, lad? You know, I think it's rather pretty." "Captain," pleaded Bartholomew, "it's dangerous." "Nonsense!" snorted the captain. "Lad, are you trying to frighten me? Captains, my boy, are afraid of nothing. That stuff's harmless. I'll show you. I'll eat some." "Eat some?" gasped Bartholomew. "Oh, no!" But before Bartholomew could stop him, the captain was leaning out his window, scooping up some Oobleck on the end of his sword. "Don't, Captain, don't!" The captain did. By the time Bartholomew dragged him back inside the room, his mouth was glued tight shut with Oobleck. He tried to speak, but no words came out. All the noble captain of the guards could do was blow a lot of little sticky, greenish bubbles. "Forgive me for leaving you, Captain," said Bartholomew, "but a captain full of bubbles is no help at all." Bartholomew stretched the poor man out. He left him there on his chamber floor. Bartholomew went tearing through the zigzag palace hallways. "I'll get the king's horse. I'll ride through the country. I'll warn the people of the kingdom myself." He pushed open the door that led out to the royal stables. Bartholomew stopped. He could go no farther. The awful Oobleck was plumping down as big as greenish footballs now. Too late to warn the people of the kingdom. There were farmers in the fields getting stuck to hoes and plows. Goats were getting stuck to ducks. Geese were getting stuck to cows. Outside the palace, it was piling up great greenish tons of Oobleck, deeper and deeper on every roof in the land. There was nothing Bartholomew Cubbins could do out there. Shaking his head sadly, he stepped back inside. But inside, a moment later, it was just as bad as out. With an angry roar, the Oobleck was suddenly hitting the palace harder. It was battering and spattering against the walls, as big as greenish buckets full of gooey asparagus soup. Like a sinking sailboat, the whole palace was springing leaks. The Oobleck was ripping the windows right off their hinges. It was dripping through the ceilings. It was rolling down the chimneys. It was coming in everywhere, even through the keyholes. From every bedroom in the palace came the howls of lords and ladies. Frightened in their nightgowns, they came jumping to their doors.
Go back to your beds. Get under your blankets.
Bartholomew Cubbins went crying through the halls, but nobody paid the slightest attention. Everyone in the palace started rushing madly about. The royal cook rushed down to the royal kitchen. Bartholomew Cubbins saw him trapped there, stuck to 3 stew pots, a teacup, and a cat. The royal laundress rushed outside to save her laundry. Bartholomew saw her stuck tight to the clothesline between 2 woolen stockings and the king's best Sunday blouse. He saw the royal fiddlers. They were stuck to their royal fiddles. Everywhere Bartholomew ran, he saw someone stuck to something. They were stuck up by the dozens. Every last friend he had in the world was flopping and floundering, all hopelessly caught in the goo. Then suddenly, midst the hubbub, Bartholomew gasped. The king! Where was the king? He'd forgotten all about him. It was in the throne room that Bartholomew found him. There he sat, old King Derwin, proud and mighty ruler of the kingdom of Did, trembling, shaking, helpless as a baby. His royal crown was stuck to his royal head. The seat of his royal pants were stuck to his royal throne. Oobleck was dripping from his royal eyebrows. It was oozing into his royal ears.
Fetch my magicians, Bartholomew, he commanded. Make them say some magic words. Make them stop the Oobleck falling.
Bartholomew shrugged his shoulders. I can't fetch them, your majesty. Their cave on Mount Nicotave is buried deep in Oobleck.
Then I must think of some magic words, groaned the king. Oh, what are those words my magicians say? Shuffle, duffle, muzzle, muff. That's all I can remember, and they don't do any good. The Oobleck keeps on falling harder.
Bartholomew Cubbins could hold his tongue no longer.
And it's going to keep on falling, he shouted, until your whole great marble palace tumbles down. So don't waste your time saying foolish magic words. You ought to be saying some plain simple words.
Simple words? What do you mean, boy?
I mean, said Bartholomew, this is all your fault. Now, the least you can do is say the simple words, I'm sorry.
No one had ever talked to the king like this before.
What? He bellowed. Me? Me say I'm sorry? Kings never say I'm sorry. And I am the mightiest king in all the world.
Bartholomew looked the king square in the eye.
You may be a mighty king, he said, but you're sitting in Oobleck up to your chin. And so is everyone else in your land. And if you won't even say you're sorry, you're no sort of a king at all.
Bartholomew Cubbins turned his back. He started for the throne room door. But then Bartholomew heard a great deep sob. The old king was crying.
Come back, Bartholomew Cubbins. You're right. It is all my fault, and I am sorry. Oh, Bartholomew, I'm awfully, awfully sorry.
And the moment the king spoke those words, something happened. Maybe there was something magic in those simple words, I'm sorry. Maybe there was something magic in those simple words, it's all my fault. Maybe there was, and maybe there wasn't. But they say that as soon as the old king spoke them, the sun began to shine and fight its way through the storm. They say that the falling Oobleck blobs grew smaller and smaller and smaller. They say that all the Oobleck that was stuck on all the people and on all the animals of the kingdom of Did just simply, quietly melted away. And then they say Bartholomew took the old king by the sleeve and led him up the steps of the high bell tower. He put the bell rope into His Majesty's royal hands, and the king himself rang the holiday bell. Then the king proclaimed a brand new national holiday in honor of the 4 perfect things that come down from the sky. The king now knew that these 4 old-fashioned things, the rain, the sunshine, the fog, and the snow, were good enough for any king in all the world, especially for him, old King Derwin of Did.